Hey, middle-aged gamers, welcome back to the latest episode of the weekly Quest podcast. Totally not what I was going to say, but today it's just Antoine and myself. Adam is busy. He's doing summer class. Today is the last week before Chinese New Year here in Taiwan, also in China as well, and I'm sure a lot of other Asian communities. So summer vacation starts on Thursday, so there's usually a time for kids to have extra schooling or fun stuff, which is why Adam's not here. But we have Antoine. Today we have a special show. We're going to change up the order a bit because the Switch 2 trailer was released last week. We don't know a lot about it, but we're going to do some speculation, some fact-finding, I guess, later. But first, he's got a few interesting stories that I think be good to listen to. Antoine, what do you want to talk about?
Hopefully you'll like it. But last week I talked about scalpers, and today I'm going to start my first stories with scammers. So maybe this indie horror game called Poppy Playtime. So the developers of this game, Mob Entertainment, they are really annoyed with both Google, but more than Google, they are very pissed with 𝙎𝙪𝙥𝙦 game. Mob claims that this developer have used their game's namesake, brand, imaging, and everything to dupe fans out of their money. But we'll talk about that front later. So the lawsuit include claims of copyright infringement, trademark dilution, unfair competition, and they ask for a total judgment of 375,000, which I don't find that too much compared to what our good friend of 𝙎𝙪𝙥𝙦 did. So if you don't know Poppy Playtime, it's an episodic survival horror game. So, episodic like... I can't remember the guys who did The Walking Dead and Guardians of the Galaxy. Anyway.
Telltale.
Thank you. Very much like a Telltale. So, they started, I think, in 2021 or something. They release one episode or one chapter every so often. And it's kind of, like a monster toy in a creepy factory. So a bit like I never played Five Nights at Freddy's, but that's basically how I imagine that. And so the anticipated chapter 4 of Poppy Playtime is supposed to release, or it's set actually to release on January 30th this year. But 𝙎𝙪𝙥𝙦 Games 2020 Inc., exactly to be very precise, have already created an app on Google Play which titles Poppy Playtime Chapter 4, and they released it on October 15, 2024. So if you're a fan of the franchise and you see this app, do not download it. It's a scam. This very same company, 𝙎𝙪𝙥𝙦, did similar app on one of the previous chapter. So it's not their first time. And this time Mob Entertainment decided to act. So what the app of 𝙎𝙪𝙥𝙦 is doing, so the app is for free. And according to a lawsuit, because I didn't download it myself, right? I know what I'm in for. After downloading the fake app, the user, right, is prompted to spend $30 to $85 to access the game. But after you pay, you are sent back to a link to a dead web page. We got you. Very nice, guys. So Mob Entertainment asked Google, right, to take both of this app down several times. And the first notice was sent on October 31st, 2024. So I don't know why they did it they didn't do it earlier, for the first app, but at least we know that it has been done in October 21st, so 2 weeks after the second app was released. So the 𝙎𝙪𝙥𝙦's version of Poppy Playtime was removed about around December 9. So it took like more than a month to take it down. And it was back up like just a month later on January 13th. And if you look for Poppy Playtime, it's gonna be these fake fraudulent apps will be at the top of the search. Of course, you can imagine that if you are Mob Entertainment, it must be extremely frustrating, because if you look for that game, it's not their game which come out first, but the fraudulent app. So that's basically a catastrophe for them. So yeah, that's why they are suing them. I imagine that they are not the only developers being affected by these kind of scams, which is very detrimental to the gaming industry and to this poor indie developer, right? Indie, that means there's not a lot of people on it and they are not making much money on it. So indie developers, if you are following Weekly Quest or our show since 2020, right? I'm a very big fan of indie game because they have much less to lose compared to AAA, and they always do have innovative gameplay or innovative story, or it's much more refreshing to play an indie game than a AAA these days because it can be more interesting. But these scammers are killing the industry, and they don't need that. Look at what happened at Annapurna not too long ago, right? We need to buy or to be with indie games, right? We need to develop indie games. That's the first scam I saw of this type lately. I'm sure it's not the only one. So if you saw this, try to be careful not to download the fake app. If you like Poppy Stories, of course, buy the game. Please buy the game, but make sure that it's the right one. If after downloading the game you see, please buy our game for $30 to $95 to unlock the game, that's not the right app. Delete it right away. That's the only thing. What did it say? Adam and Green, but of course it's just Green today. What do you think? Did you ever saw this kind of scam before?
I mean, I've seen this, the idea of even, do you remember when Helldivers 2 came out, right? And there was somebody who launched like a Helldivers 2 similar game. They used all the assets. It was on the Steam store, and people were buying this game, right? And I think this is a problem of it being really easy to get like a Steam ID or even an Apple Store developer ID and say, hey, here's Flappy Bird, and here's a clone I made of Flappy Bird. And, we'll call it Floppy Bird, right? Or Flocky Bird. And, because people are tired, people are busy, it's very easy for them to be like, oh, okay, Flocky Bird, that's the game I want. Download it, I'll pay $1 or $2 or $3. And if you have, there are lots of busy people, you've made a $300, $400, $3,000. And I think that's a problem for people, because people were like, hey, Apple, you should have protected me, or hey, Steam, you should have protected me. But I think it will get better once we get like really better AI systems that can tell the difference between Helldivers 2 and Hades Divers, whatever the fake game was, I don't know. But yeah, no, I've never fallen for this, thankfully. But I've definitely seen loads of articles popping up as games have become viral, like Flappy Bird, like Wordle, where people set up fake games with like malware inside. So like, we don't care. We'll make it a free game called, Flappy Bird. And when you download it, I have access to your phone and your contacts and that sort of stuff. Like, so it's really is dangerous. So I definitely hope, try if you're looking for something new, make sure you do it when you're not tired so you don't download the wrong thing.
And if you want to double check, usually these developers, they have a website, so you can just quickly take 2 minutes. You go on their website, see what their app is, the real name, the real logo. Be very careful, because in this game, Daigo really just literally screenshot, right, the assets of the real game. So it's really hard to make the difference. And in the case of Floppy or Flocky or stuff like this, there's still a game, right? Here it's just straight off a scam. It's saying in the same stuff as, oh, it's tax season, and you get a text on your phone saying, hey, click here to get your payment back from... No, don't do that. Exactly the same kind of scam. I guess, it's easier to steal money from others than to make your own, right?
Oh, of course, right? People are lazy by nature. So what else are you telling us about today?
All right. My second story was about Nintendo, so maybe I'll save it for when we talk about the Switch. And my third story, I'm interested in movies these days, and I was actually talking about Korean, about making maybe not maybe a new show, but a new format. That's the word I was looking for. Please keep in mind that I'm very tired. That's why I keep looking for my word right now. But yeah, like a new format based on movies, like over the shutdown, not shutdown, but my company shut down for Christmas, but over the Christmas period, I went to see Sonic 3 with my kids, which was actually a pretty good movie, right? And I was thinking maybe a new format talking about movies on the channel, that would be great. And which makes me think, actually, what video games movie do we have this year? Because last year we had the great Fallout series, we had Sonic, of course, we had plenty of movies, which I have to say, the quality for video games movie is getting up, I feel. But we had Borderlands, so I put Borderlands on the side, right? But I feel that it's getting better and better, so I was looking. And for your calendar of 2025 movies, you have April 4th, Minecraft, with the big cast, with Jack Black, with The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. So I'm not sure if I really want to see, because I've never been a big Minecraft players, even though I really see the appeal of sandbox and all. But when it was released, I was like, what's blocks? What's the interest? I want more realistic stuff, which exactly why I didn't get it. And 10 years later, I was like, maybe I kind of missed something, may I? Of course. But I'm completely fine with my choice. I regret a little bit, but that's fine. And so this movie is coming out. We'll see how it goes. At this time, you see all the art critic on internet saying, "Oh, it's gonna be shite," or as usual. You know what? Go see the movie and give us your opinion later. Maybe we will go see the movie. Queen Adam and I. I'm not going to Taiwan to see the movie, by the way, and tell you our opinion of the movie later. But this is the big video game movie coming out in 2025. After that, we are April 25, so 3 weeks later, Until Dawn. I'm not exactly sure what this game was about. Honestly, I can't recall. Certainly a horror movie, a horror game, but never played. I regret Adam's not here, because I'm sure he would have tell you the developers, the engine it's running on, and everything. But sorry, don't know this game. So if you like the game, it's coming out end of April. After that, we have two sequels. We have Mortal Kombat dun, 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 coming out on October 24th, and Fight Night at Freddy's, so we will call it FNAF 2, coming up on December 5. Like a little horror movie just before Christmas. That's absolutely perfect. And series-wise, not much, but April 2025, The Last of Us Season 2 is coming out. So that's going to be interesting, because Season 1 was widely appreciated. We had Fallout this year, which was a very good series. So maybe video game series is the way to go. Of course, remember that in 2024, Warhammer from Henry Cavill on Amazon Prime was officially announced, even if we knew that from a very long time, but officially it was announced. So that's going to come out before 26 or 27, even 28. I have no clue about this, but it's coming out. So yes, not much until April, and then starting April, we have 3 things at once. So we'll see how it goes. And if you are interested in a movie format from us, or if you are simply interested in video game movie, please mention it in the comments. What was your the best video game movie you saw these days? Again, I'm pretty happy with Sonic 3. I really feel that the more Sonic there is, the better they become. So we'll see about the fourth, because of course there will be a fourth. And yeah, that's it from my second story of the night.
I mean, that's cool. I don't know why, and actually I do know why. My personality, I've always loved continuous stories, which is why I don't know if you've ever done that, the French TV shows you grew up with, right? Have you ever gone back and rewatched them again?
Yes and no, because when I was a kid, we were extremely influenced by Japanese manga. So all my childhood was Dragon Ball, Saint Seiya, all of this kind of stuff. And at some point, I recall the politician said, no, it's not good to have a foreigner TV show which are so violent, because there was how do you call it in English? Kenshiro, North Star, the Feast of the North Star, maybe, which is very violent.
Adam would know what you're talking about there.
Because in French was Ken le Survivant. It's Kenshiro. If I say ta 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 ta, with the head of the guy doing no, like you must have heard this. Like you don't.
You remember, right? In Africa, we had 3 TV channels,
true.
right? And we only had British and Dutch TV.
Okay, fair enough. Well, if I tell you, you don't know it yet, but you're already dead. That's coming from this.
Oh, okay.
You know, like
Also, doesn't ring a bell at
okay,
all
fair
there.
enough.
I'm sorry.
Well, basically, you know, he was just hitting exactly the nerve point of the guy in front. Like, you didn't do a thing to me. And then he would explode in blood. That was very funny.
Oh, God.
And we had this, you know, I was like 7, 8 years old at the time on TV. So the politician said, no more like foreigner bloody stuff. And instead, we had all the American TV shows. You know, like the Batman, the Ninja Turtles, the X-Men. So I grew up with either Japanese manga or American comics, which is why us French from the 80s, we love, you know, Japan.
So I mean, okay, got it. No, I mean, why I mentioned that is just because, like, in the last probably 10 years or so, the number of movies I watch has decreased. Like, I have not been to the movie theater in at least 5 years. So I rarely watch a movie. I will watch TV shows, and I'll watch seasons of TV shows every few years. Like, I'll watch 7 seasons of a TV show over like a few months, again and again. So like I've rewatched Star Trek Voyager like 3 or 4 times over the last 20 years.
Nice.
All 7 seasons. Star Trek Deep Space Nine. This American TV show Jag from the 90s.
Oh, Jag.
So like
Jag was
yes,
cool.
I love Jag.
Oh, Jag was really cool.
So it was. So that's it for me. Like, I know some people are big into movies, like my younger brother, my older brother. But for me, like, I'm sure you must have the same problem. Like, I can't sit down and dedicate 1.5 hours to a movie, right? Like, it's just impossible.
If I watch it in 5 or 6 times, yes. You know, I watch the first 20 minutes, and then my son is telling me something.
See,
and then...
that's what I do, right? If I do watch a movie, I'll watch 20 minutes today, I'll watch 20 minutes another day, and that's...
It's not because I want to, because, you know, like, if you watch like this, you completely lose interest. Or what was the plot already? Who was this guy? I can't even remember. But that's why I'm watching, these days I'm watching Squid Games 2, season 2, which started extremely well, the first 3 episodes. After that, it's really just a repeat of season 1. So I'm finished at season 7, episode 7, sorry. So waiting to see if 8 and 9 will be good, but it's always such a cool show, right? But again, it's very long. It's nearly a movie, like nearly an hour, maybe sometime more for one show.
Oh yes.
Loki was the same. It's getting super long, this series.
But no, like Squid Games is definitely not for me.
It's fun.
I stay away from that sort of stuff. But I know lots of people will like it, and there's so much freaking promotion around that TV show. But yeah, no, video game movies. I think anything that gets more people interested in video games, I'm always happy about.
I'm really worried about Minecraft, because a lot of people are saying it's gonna be like the Super Mario Bros. A lot of people are criticizing.
I think it'll still do well. Like, Super Mario Bros. Made a profit for Nintendo. And I think as long as Minecraft makes a profit, not to mention, like, but I think the confusing thing will be, like, is I don't hear kids talking about Minecraft, but I mean, it's still Roblox everywhere from students right here in Taiwan. So, yeah.
Well, the good thing they have is that, you know, like in Mario Bros, you have a story, right? You have a hero, you have a princess, you have a bad guy. In Minecraft, it's a sandbox. So apart from Steve, the hero, and the Ender Dragon at the end, the thing is that you can do whatever you want in between. And I know that it worked very well for Angry Birds, a movie that I really didn't expect anything from. And I recall it was very fun, and I thought, how did
it was pretty good.
Yeah, they did this from birds, throwing birds at a wall. So when it's like this sandbox, you have much more freedom to create whatever story you want, and that I think is a good thing for Minecraft. If they just don't do this for money, but really put some thought into the writing of it. It can be good, I think. Just don't get stuck on just the aspect of it, because of course it's gonna be like a blocky llama head, and it's gonna be weird. It will be weird, of course, but give it a chance, I'd say.
Yeah, and I think it's really like for us, right? We grew up in the era of terrible graphics, and it's funny how it's come around to like Roblox and stuff again, like in the 2025, and he's like, man, this is awesome. So I think for us, it's gonna be. I find it hard to see past Roblox's terrible graphics. But I know, like Adam, like again, if Adam was here at Heat before. Like he played Minecraft even in the 2010s and up to 2020, almost, if I remember correctly. So he can get past it, and even I've gotten past it with the Switch, playing pixel games and stuff. But that's another story anyway. Let's not diverge. Let's dive into the meat of today. At least something I'm going to put this on my YouTube channel. Let's talk about. So here's everything you need to know about the Nintendo Switch 2. So the trailer was out last week, and let's sort of look at some of the curious, interesting things. One of the cool things as well is the USB-C port is on top, right? And there's one on the bottom. So this part I didn't quite understand until I watched a few more videos. But the highlight of this, I guess, is that this allows for more accessories. So maybe a camera or who knows what other thing could be plugged on top of the Switch. It looks, I don't like this part, but it's like black, right? And it has like color with under the thumbsticks, I guess is the English word for that. I don't like that. I loved like the bright like red and blue color on the Switch. I think that looked cool. I think it's nice to have like bright colors. I love my green keyboard. It's so different with the rest of this freaking black setup. If I could have green speakers on my computer, I'd be much happier. The magnetic attachments are really cool, but at the same time, I know a lot of online personalities have said, hey, this is going to be a point of failure for the Switch 2 because it is these really physical, large, tiny USB things that I worry, like especially with kids, right? They might be pushing it in hard or snapping it off incorrectly. And I think that's going to be the first thing to break. And one of the things they highlight on the videos, right? Like they move the sticks around. So of course, in theory, we're not going to have any stick drift with the Switch 2. But then we might have to be fixing broken little magnetic connectors. Who knows? That could be a gigantic pain. So of course, the big thing is size, and we're going to talk about that later. Is the controllers are bigger, of course, because the Switch is bigger. It's supposed to be 8 inches. Again, we don't have any confirmation about the actual physical hardware aspects. We've seen leaks over the past year or so. We know it's supposed to be 8 inches. We're only going to know everything for definitive when it comes April 2nd, when they have an entire Nintendo Direct about this, and then we can know what's inside, what are the sizes of the controllers, all the hardware details that like hardware geeks like myself want to know. That's when we'll finally know. We do know for sure it's a 1080p screen. We also know for sure, which is really cool, that I think this is going to have it like step up compared to like a PlayStation 5, is that the controllers can act as a mouse. So you could have mouse accurate shooting on a console, right? Because there is an optical controller, sort of like on the side of this, right? And you can put it down and you can move it like a mouse, which is pretty awesome. So you can have one controller to move and one controller like a mouse. You can get that precise aiming. I think that will require some practice. It's like people who use a trackable mouse at work, right? I found that really hard to use, but some people use that stuff really, really efficiently. And yeah, that is it for the hardware side. Antoine, what do you think when you saw the trailer? What was your opinion?
So you were talking about peripheral or accessories. You can go on the official website of, I don't know if you say it Nacon or Nacon, Nacon, right? I was looking at this while Kren was telling you about. So at this time, what they will be releasing at the same time at launch of the Switch 2, if you add the Switch, was it on Switch 1 or the Wii? You know the wheel that you have for Mario Kart? So this wheel is going to be released. Of course, you have a stronger case, like a case to transport it. You have the screen protector. There's also some folding steering wheel for Joy-Con. So pretty nice, right? If you are playing Formula One thing or rally or things like this, WRB. And that's basically, they are releasing some cables as well, car chargers, 30 watt, 60 watt chargers for Nintendo 2 and Switch 2, things like this, a TV stand as well, but that's for the Switch, not the 2. So yeah, just go on their website, type Switch 2, it's very easy to find on internet the kind of thing that will be released. I don't know if it's coming with the Switch 2 or if it's separate accessories. I saw some little handles that you can clip behind the Switch. Like instead of just holding your Switch, there's some little handle to make it more ergonomic. So
That's the Pro controller that you get. Like when I bought my Switch from Japan, it came in a box and you clip both on and it becomes like a Pro controller.
fair enough. Okay, and is it coming with the Switch? Do you think?
So it came with the Switch 1, so it'll come with the Switch 2 for sure.
Okay, fair enough. So so no more to say on the accessories at this time. It's apart from the rally Formula One, the steering wheel. It's all very basic accessories at this time.
I mean, what do you think about the look, the hardware, what you saw in the trailer?
Well, it's a Switch but bigger. It's what I was saying. I mentioned that I think we're gonna go back to this on the show. For me, it's really the Wii U effect. We're selling you a brand new console, which is gonna be very likely $400. Original Switch is $300 here. With Adam, we are guessing $400. I don't know what you think, but so it's a brand new console, $400, and yet it looks not exactly the same. It's a bit bigger, and for me, the fact that there's the Joy-Con magnetic stuff instead of sliding is really accessory. I have no problem with the stick, with the sliding. I know it's safe. I never had any problem with it. I never heard any problem with it. The magnetic thing is really just marketing for me, unless there's really an actual gameplay thing about it. So I'm just afraid that Nintendo is making just problem for themselves with this technology. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because Nintendo is usually very sturdy, right? You wouldn't expect a Nintendo console to die like a good old Xbox. So I trust Nintendo to know what they are doing with this. After, when everybody was like, oh look, Genki leaked the new look of the Switch. It's a Switch. It's a big Switch. Very slightly different here and there, but it's a big Switch. And I'm afraid just because of this, because like when there's this big look at PlayStation, when they release a new PlayStation, it looks very different, even though in the end it's just a big square, right? Because people like something new, visually new. I just spent $400 on this. I want to show off sometime. Of course, if you get inside the house of your friend and you see a Switch 2 and say, oh, you got a Switch? No, it's a Switch 2. True, it's a little bit bigger. I know that can seem, like very superficial. That's how I see humanity as superficial. I'm not a big fan of humanity as a whole, so I'm very sarcastic. But that's exactly one of the things, right? You want to buy it because it looks cool, right? I have the latest product. And if you can't differentiate the latest product with the old one, that's going to have repercussions. You lose part of your customers there. There's this, if you recall, Korean and I did studies in Ireland together, and we had a marketing course, and there was this quadrant, right, of customers saying some people like it old and sturdy, reliable. Some people like it new, whatever happened, even if it's brittle, and you need to appeal, to try to be in the middle to appeal, or unless it's very specific, but to the largest amount of people. And here with this, same as the Wii U, I think they're not gonna get the people who want to buy the latest shiny new thing with bells and whistles, so they say. That's my view on it. But maybe we could have a marketing specialist from Nintendo who can explain to us the reason behind it.
Thanks for that. I mean, this is why I was glad. Like when I was putting together the show, I was like, should I have 3 different stories, or just, and it ended up being like 3 Nintendo stories, right? So let's move on to today's second segment, and I think I might do this one a little bit different. Is like, hey guys, the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming, but I know you have a lot of questions. So today I'm here with Antoine, and we're going to talk about some of the open questions, right? So Antoine, I guess let's start with you first. The Switch 2 trailer announced last week. We're going to get like the further details in April. When do you think we could possibly be able to buy the Switch 2?
Well, end of April. No, honestly, very honestly, I didn't watch the launch trailer.
It doesn't mention the launch trailer, so no worries. But like, so
It doesn't mention launch.
it doesn't.
Because in
It
in
doesn't.
my mind, it has always been for fall 2025. Just the same period where you will have the launch maybe September, then Black Friday in November, Christmas in December. Of course, sorry, I'm tired. I said it before, but I'm looking for my words here. But they can launch it at any time. I think the product is ready, right? They don't need much more quality control or anything. They're just gonna launch it when it makes the most sense. Forget summer, everybody's out, nobody's gonna buy anything in summer. You want to launch it before Christmas, but leave it enough time, like maybe 1 or 2 months before Black Friday, so that the people who are in a hurry to buy it will buy it first. And then the one who want to wait a little bit more, like me especially, will take it maybe at 10 or 20% off on Black Friday. And everybody's gonna shop for Christmas. So my bet would be a September, October launch.
Okay. So my take is, I think you actually might be right with maybe an end of April announcement. That would be wonderful. I think the rumors have said summer 2025 is the rumors have said this is what it's going to be. I think more likely end of the year, December 2025. I think it makes more sense to get like everyone, supplies in order. They also said, right, like we talked about this in a few rumor videos where they're going to limit it. There's not going to be any scalping because you need to have like a Nintendo account when you buy a Switch, right? And they still need to set up however that system is going to work with the stores like Best Buy, or I was going to say Circuit City. It doesn't exist anymore. But whatever your retailer is in your respective country, right, there needs to be some sort of network to say, hey, when you come into the store, please sign in with your Nintendo account so you can buy the Switch. I don't know how that's going to work, but all right. Next open question is.
Sorry, I just wanted to mention, because we talked it in the previous section, but the thing that why the Switch did such great numbers for two reasons, right? Of course, there was pandemic, COVID-19, everybody remember, but also because Nintendo just went out of a Wii U, which was quite disappointing compared to the Wii, and the Switch was the brand new console coming after the Wii era, Wii U. The thing that Switch 2 doesn't have the appeal that the Switch would have just after the Wii U, right? So they need to create demands. And when you create demands at Christmas, that's why I'm really thinking that a fall release would make more sense, because if they really want to make some sale, they need to make it as a special event. And there's nothing more special for present than Christmas. So that's really what I think. Why I think that.
Hey, what do you and Adam think the Switch came out during the pandemic? Because it came out in 2017.
Yes, it came out in 2017. The only thing is that during pandemic, if you had kids, you knew that you need to take care of them, because all the schools were closed for a year and a half. And having your kids at home when you work for a year, that was hell. So you want to keep them busy by any means. And by any means get them a Switch, because it's kids friendly. And during pandemic, what do we recall about the Switch? Everybody had the same idea, and it was very, very hard to procure one. Like I was on the waiting list for 4 different stores. I got it really by chance, honestly. So yeah, that's why Switch and pandemic is really like etched into my mind, because of course it was not a new product at this time, but that's when the demand was the strongest, when all the kids were stuck at home.
Makes sense. All right, Antoine, next question, right? We've seen a lot of price talk. I don't know if they've seen news about it, but what do you think the price point is going to be?
So honestly, it would be better to release at a $300 price point, simply to follow in the steps of the original Switch. Also from the fact that they do not have an OLED screen like the OLED Switch, right? It's a bigger console, so it's going to be... I don't know if the hardware is going to be more expensive because it's bigger. I imagine so. We do not have any specs from the hardware, or do we? I didn't follow that, but I don't think we have any specs. So that really depends what they put on the console. We are expecting a lot, but will we get a lot? I don't think. what I heard, what I read is that we should expect some kind of PS4 more or less capacity or power. Definitely better than the Switch, definitely worse than the PS5 or whatever Xbox Series. So that means it's cheap components, maybe, because it's a generation behind. So hopefully it's not gonna make a lot of it's not gonna cost that much to create it. Also, you're in Taiwan, so you will know that what makes or breaks the price of a console is a semiconductor. Will there be any big demand, for this, and which makes the price go up or not? I don't think there's any big. Well, the PS5 is already released, right? So who knows? Maybe they could have a cheap batch. Hopefully, never happens these days. So I think, very honestly, like I said before, it's gonna be released at $400 because like the price of life, the cost of life is simply more expensive these days. And I think $400 is something that people are ready to accept. Not more. More than that, and that would be that just wouldn't work.
I mean, yes, like I've seen the $400 price point. Like I know Adam also mentioned it being $300. I remember when I bought mine in Japan in 2017, it was at $400 in Japan. But I got a discount because Japan has these tax-free zones and stuff, so I paid a little bit less than $400. But even here in Taiwan, it was $400. Like it's retail at $400, right? So I think the price point is fine. It's still cheaper than a PS5. It's still cheaper than an Xbox. It's still cheaper than a Steam Deck for the power that you're getting. So I think we haven't, again, this hasn't been 100% confirmed, but the rumors sort of all point to the fact it's going to be a PS4 Pro. So we should be able to get 4K 30 frames per second when it's docked. I guess, and that's what people have said about the Mario Kart that was shown in the trailers, that this is going to be a 4K Mario Kart 9 when it is released. So I've seen price points all along the range, but basically anywhere from 400 to 500. Most people are saying 450. Some people are saying 500 would be like the bundle price with whatever game you're going to get inside. I honestly think is basically anything under what I paid for my Steam Deck is a deal. Because for the Steam Deck, you get a 6nm CPU or APU, right, with a graphics and CPU all on the same die. You get 720p max gaming because that's what it is. You get that OLED screen, but honestly, OLED is fine. But like OLED and LCD, I don't find it a huge difference, to be honest. Like especially after you start playing a game for a while. So, but I think the resolution is going to be a big difference. Like a 1080p deck or a 1080p handheld gaming console is such a huge thing, especially to the handheld gaming market, because you look at the ROG Ally, you look at the Lenovo Legion Go, it's quite difficult to get well optimized 1080p games on there without you fiddling around with a bunch of settings. So that's sort of beyond the point there.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, go ahead, Anton, if you have something else, and then I'll move on to the next question.
I think the price point will really matter if they come out with big titles. Because that's the thing with Nintendo. What's the point of having a Switch 2 if I don't have a new Zelda? Or if I don't have a new... You mentioned Mario Kart, but... sorry, my cat is getting crazy. Stop it. That's my microphone over there. She's playing with my cable, sorry. So they need to release some big launch title to make it sing $400 to play the new Breath of the Wild, let's say. Yes, that's worth it. That's what I think. So there will be a remaster of Metroid. I think Metroid Prime, but that will be on Switch, not on Switch 2. I know there's gonna be a lot of remake, and I think that's. Tell me in the comments if I'm saying crap, because more than likely I will. But I think that was also one of the things of the Wii U. That was really a console of remake, right? Look, we did these great games on Wii. We are remastering it, and you have it in better quality on Wii U. Yay! But can I have a new Zelda instead? That's kind of the thing, right? Because the Wii U was much better than a Wii, more powerful. You had this big screen that you can play. Technologically, it was better, even if it looked like before. But I think the lack of big title, and again, I passed completely next to the Wii U. So if there was some big title on it, tell me, mea culpa. I'm sorry I missed it, but I don't like on top of my mind. There's no big thing which was released there. Like I think that was the Sky something. And I think that was before the Wii U or during the Wii U. In any case, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm more than likely am. But that's, for me, was one of the issues with the Wii U. No super big title which makes you think, oh yes, I gotta have this console.
Yes. All right, let's move on to, I had a few other open questions, but let's move on to the last one, I think, for this category. So Antoine, it was announced, the trailer was last week. Who do you think the Switch 2 is for? Or who do you imagine Nintendo wants this to be for? Is it for the handheld gamers like myself? Is it for original Switch owners? Are they going after a new market? What do you think?
I think that Nintendo has a very specific type of customers, which are young kids, families, family games, kids playing Mario. Remember, Nintendo, it has to be colorful, it has to be cute, it has to be Animal Crossing, it has to be Zelda, and you're frozen. Krian, are you still with me? Okay, fair enough, sorry. Of course, handheld people like, even if I'm saying that yes, family, yes, kids, there's also a Breath of the Wild, which make like people like me, 40 years old, want to play on the commute to work with it, right? If you have a long commute, like here in Montreal, during the rush hour, you can have a 45 to an hour commute. You have your handheld, you play your 1 hour of Zelda before work. But again, I don't think they're aiming for new customers here. Exactly the same they had 4 years, right? They're gonna release, I don't know, some new Pokemon game or something like this. Family friendly, colorful, nice, makes you feel all warm and fuzzy, and that's the kind of customers that they want to reach, right?
I'm actually going to go, I would say I agree with everything you said, but I think with the Switch 2, Nintendo's going to sort of lean into what happened with the Switch 1. Is you had a lot of adult games. I wouldn't say adult, like violent, non-family friendly games on the Switch, right? The Dooms were there, right? With all the gore, all the blood. There were these hentai anime stuff that we won't talk about here. But there were a lot of adult games that you would typically not find associated with Nintendo, but yeah, they were on the Switch because the Switch has, and I guess the sense, it just has the largest amount of diverse gamers who are interested in lots of different things, and Nintendo sort of embraced it because these are the people who are buying loads and loads and loads of games, and I think the Switch 2 is just going to take more advantage of that. So there've been rumors, and we'll talk about this in the next segment that I want to ask your questions on, Antoine, is a lot of people have speculated we're going to see the Switch 2 launch titles are going to be adult games. Like people are saying Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to launch on the Switch 2.
It is, yeah. With
Which I think, entirely possible. Two Japanese companies working together. Again, as Shadows is not something you're going to let your 12-year-old play, right? So it's going to be interesting. I can't imagine Nintendo stays with the family-friendly image, but maybe they will. We'll have to see.
So my take on this, none of the games that you are mentioning are Nintendo IP. When I'm talking about big game at launch, I'm talking about being Nintendo IP. Because all of the others, the Dooms, all of this, the Assassin's Creed and everything, that's less a Nintendo wish than a publisher saying, please Nintendo, let me put my game on your Switch so that more people can access it. For me, that's it. Right? Nintendo is not pushing marketing on those, right? Say, you want to get on my Switch? Okay, give me money and I'll put it on my Switch. If it's a new Mario, new Zelda, new whatever Nintendo IP, they're gonna have lots of marketing saying, look at us, this is Nintendo, this is Kirby, look, this is Pokemon, this actually Pokemon is Nintendo, actually it's a Nintendo exclusive, right? So Yeah. You really, for me at least, you really have to differentiate between Nintendo family, the warm and fuzzy family, colorful little games, and all the others which are taking the fact that the Nintendo Switch and Switch 2 capacity make it that the game can run on it with not too much effort from porting it to an Xbox or PC or PlayStation version to a Switch. It doesn't make much money to release it on Switch, and let's do it. We have more customers this way. So Nintendo is like, yeah, I'll make money out of it, so why not? But they are not marketing their Switch on it. They won't. They will market their Switch on their own IP. That's why, for me, Nintendo is not going to lose their family-friendly aura.
See, this is the thing where you diverge it, because all the stories I researched for this, from Game Rant to Kotaku, they have said on that Nintendo Direct in April, it's going to have Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's going to have Doom Eternal, right? Mm-hmm. In yes, the actual Nintendo Direct. Yeah, exactly. Like, these are not Nintendo IPs, right?
True. No, that's Ubisoft. No, you're right. Okay, well, that's great. You know, if I love to be proven wrong.
Again, these guys are just, they're guessing as well. I tend to believe that just because, as I said, like watching a lot of social media and stuff, you see, as much as the Switch is for families, it's also for these handheld gamers like myself who want to play adult-focused games. I want to play Assassin's Creed Shadows in my bed. So, well, we'll see. It's 2 months' time. 3 months' time, we'll figure it out.
But you're right about this. Ubisoft already said they would release a lot of games on the Switch too. Like, so as you said, Shadows, there will be Mirage, there will be others. Also because Ubisoft right now is in dire need of new customers. Dire need. And that's also why, you know, I'm pretty sure they are giving some money to Nintendo saying, please, push your stuff for us. Push our stuff for us. I think there's also this kind of things as well. But yeah.
Yeah. All right, final segment, so we don't take up too much of Antoine's time, is Antoine, if you had to choose 5 games that you think the Switch 2 is going to launch with, like available on day one, what do you think it's going to be? So we know for sure Mario Kart 9. Yes. Because that was on the trailer for the Switch. So, okay, 4 games besides Mario Kart 9.
So Mario Kart 9 being the big, please buy my console day one. After that, there won't be any Nintendo big IP for a while, I would say.
So these are, when I say day one, these are all the games that you can buy day one, so including Mario Kart 9.
Remasters of all the Wii games. All the Switch games, but in a better remastered version, right? All the Ubisoft game we just mentioned, Shadow, Mirage, all of this is available day one. Honestly, Mario Kart being the big game after, they will just say, hey, try Tears of the Kingdom on my new Switch too, right? They're just gonna get all the old games, but in a better quality, and resell it as usual. And Nintendo's strategy, I would say. We have such great game already. We will make more great game, but it takes time to make great games. So until then, just replace the other ones, but with a better quality of image.
Okay. You talked about Mario Kart 9. I'm not excited about this. I think Mario Kart, if you have kids like Antoine, wonderful. If you don't have kids like me, there's nobody else to play Mario Kart 9 with, so I'm not excited about that. Number 2, apparently a lot of people are saying a new Metroid game will be a day one game that you can get either as a bundle or you can buy it in the Switch store when the Nintendo Switch 2 does come out. Again, a franchise I've always been interested in. I've just never wanted to pay the full price for a Metroid game, being like $50-$60 or so. Assassin's Creed Shadows, we've already talked about it. This does make sense. It's supposed to be coming out in March. The Switch, as we said, it's either going to come out in April, if Antoine is right, or I hope he's right as well, or summer, or fall, or December. But anyway, there will be an Assassin's Creed Shadows on there. The internet agrees. Final Fantasy VII Remake is supposed to come out for the Switch 2, be a day one title, again, according to a bunch of different reporters. I guess if Adam was here, he would be able to talk more about that. For me, there's a lot of Final Fantasies on the Switch. They started coming up probably about the 2020s or so. Pixel Remaster and Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3 and all these bundles. So that does make sense. A lot of people are saying a new 3D Mario for sure. Like Mario is the epitome of Nintendo. I mean, I guess Mario or Pokemon, right? But especially with Mario World launching, or just opening up like last year or 2 years ago, I can't remember. I loved Super Mario Bros. Wonder. That was it was an amazing game. Unfortunately, I realized it's a little too frustrating for me. Like, even though the game does make itself easier as you die more often, but Mario as a franchise is dead. The movie was awesome. I like the movie, but I don't think I'll buy a new Mario game. For me, I think I was talking to Adam about this. Like, I will get a Switch 2 if I go back to my Switch 1 later this year and I'm enjoying it. I'm like, okay, then I'll get a Switch 2. Otherwise, I'll probably wait until 2026 to get a Switch 2, or wait for a 4K screen version of a Switch 2, but we'll see.
You know what game I would love to have on day one? Or not even on day one, just on Switch 2. I'd love to have remember Star Fox?
That'd be a you and Adam thing, not a me thing.
No, Star Fox, they did a great Star Fox, I can't remember the name, on GameCube. I remember Star Fox GameCube was absolutely fantastic. I honestly don't remember. That was Star Fox
I know the character
Adventures.
and I know he's famous.
Star Fox Adventure it was, apparently. I really had a lot of fun on this. It was remastered on Switch. There was a Adventure 2, was it? I don't see. No, actually, there was not. So yes, one IP which is completely forgotten, apart from like the Smash Bros. Yeah, Smash Bros. Actually, maybe there will be one on day one. They would announce it though. But yes, there must be. But a good old Star Fox Adventure, that I would consider buying it just for that.
Cool. And that is it. There'll still be more Nintendo coverage to come, probably not in the weekly quest format. As I was talking to Antoine before the show, is like, I love the weekly quest. It's fun. And we still might do them live, but I don't think I'll be releasing the edited version. But we'll see what Adam says about that once we have a chat with him. So next week, we will be recording some sort of podcast, or might be just a show talking about things. We'll see. We're still waiting to see what Adam's availability is for Chinese New Year. Thank you guys for the support. Stay tuned for February's video. It's going to be really fun. You're going to hear the best version of Antoine. Oh,
Jesus. Yes, true. Not my best version, but a version of me, yes.
A version, yes. And then, there might be a new direction coming forth in terms of the kind of content you might be seeing. We're going to try and do more if possible. That more might end up being a different kind of more once you sort of all agree on something, but we'll let you guys know. As always, stay tuned for the shorts being released during the week, and stay tuned for other content next week. And then we'll see you guys next week, probably live, or maybe not live, just being released on the channel, but we'll see for sure. All right, thanks guys, and see you next time. Bye.
Cheers.